In this tutorial, I will show you how to calculate for the mean of grouped data. Remember in my previous video, I already showed you how to calculate for the mean of ungrouped set of data. Do well to trace back to my previous video to observe that clearly by yourself. But in today's video, we shall look precisely on how to calculate for the mean of grouped data. Remember that when you try to calculate for the mean of ungrouped data, the formula for that is given as your x bar, which stands for your mean, which is equal to summation of fx all over summation of f. This is the basic formula you know, and quite I know also, for calculation of mean of ungrouped data, where this x is simply your raw scores. So the x here is your scores. But what of trying to calculate for a mean of group data where you have intervals of this form? So the question is, where are your scores? Just as you have x here to be your scores, where are your scores here? You could see that this is rated in interval. So how do we calculate for the mean of a grouped data? That is precisely what we are looking for in this tutorial. And the formula for that is the same thing as the formula we have here. Though we have two formulas for it, I will state the two formulas, but in my subsequent video, I will show you how to use the second formula for that. So to calculate for the mean of grouped data, which has an interval of this form, we use the formula which is x bar, which stands for our mean, and that is equal to summation of fx all over summation of f. This formula is the same as this formula, but a little bit different. Based on the x here is no more your raw scores as we have here, but rather the x here is what we call your midpoint. Your midpoint. If you don't call it the midpoint, you can easily call it the class mark. The class mark. That sounds very simple, right? So this formula and this formula, they have same similitude, or they resemble each other. But there is difference in the x here. The x here stands for your midpoint or your class mark, where the x here stands for your raw scores. So let's go ahead. Okay, remember I said earlier that I will also state the second formula for that. The second formula for finding the mean of a group data is given as your A plus the summation of FD all over the summation of F. What is this A actually? The A here stands for what we call assumed mean. Assumed mean. Why the D here, the letter or the parameter D here, it stands for what we call deviation. Deviation of your score. Of your score from your assumed mean. From your assumed mean. To make it brief or succinct, you can easily call the D your mean deviation. If you don't want, you can quote big grammars like this, okay? So the D here is simply what we call x minus your assumed mean. That is the meaning of all this young man we just stated here. You know you don't like ambiguous grammar, right? Just know this D stands for this, x minus your assumed mean. Okay, but in my subsequent video, I will show you how to use this second formula to calculate for the mean of a grouped data. But the A here as well, there is need for you to know what it is. It simply means assumed mean. What is assumed mean? There is a situation whereby when you are given a question of this kind, they will predict the mean for you. So whenever they predict a mean for you, that is what we call assumed mean. You don't need to stress yourself to find your mean. Quietly impute the value of the mean they already predicted for you. solve it, and then it will tend you for your answer, or to your answer rather. But this x, which is your scores, is not just ordinary scores as we are looking for this. The x here simply stands for what we call your midpoint or your class mark. Don't forget that as well. Let's go ahead to find the mean of this grouped data using this basic formula we have here. First thing first, to make it very easy for us, let's draw our table. So the first row of our table, sorry, the first column of our table, we shall have what we call our class intervals. So here we have our class intervals. And the class intervals we have are 45 to 49, 45 to 49. Then the second one, 50 to 54. The next one, 55 to 59. Then the last one is 60 to 64. That is very simple, right? Then for the next column is where we shall have what we call our midpoint or class mark. So this is our class mark, or you call it class midpoint, depending on the one that is easy for you to recall. So here is our class mark. How do we get our class mark? It is very simple to get your class mark. To make it easier, I will be using my calculator. Just add the two class, that is the lower class interval with the upper class interval, and then divide it by 2. That is how to find your class mark. Let's go ahead to do that. We shall add 45 to 49. So I say 45 plus 49, that will give me 94. Then 94 divided by 2 is going to give me 47. So here I have 47. Then for the next one, 50 plus 54. 50 plus 54 will give me 104. Then I divide it by 2, it's going to give me 52. So here I have 52. Then the next one is 55 plus 59, and that will give me 114. Then I divide by 2 to get 57. Then the last one is 60. 60 plus 64. That will give me 124. Then I divide it by 2, and that will give me 62. That is very simple, right? Then coming for the last one, sorry, let me clean this so that it won't obstruct what I'm doing. That is where we have our frequency. Our frequency, which are 6, 9, 10, 12. 6, 9, 10, and 12. Then from the formula we have fx. So we have fx here. So our fx is the product of our frequency and our class marks. So let's find the product of frequency and class mark, or class midpoint. Okay, the product is your first f is 6, and 6 multiplied by your x, which is 47. So with your calculator, we say 6 multiplied by our x, which is 47, and that will give us 282. Okay, then the next one is your f, which is 9 multiplied by your x, which is 52. So we say 9 multiplied by 52, that will give us 468. Then the next one is 10 multiplied by 57. 10 multiplied by 57, that will give us 570. Then the last one, 12 multiplied by 62. 12 multiplied by 62, that will give us 744. Okay, so here we have summation of fx. So that will be below here, summation of fx, which is equal to sum everything we have in this column. Let's go ahead to sum it. We have 282. 282 rather, plus 468, plus 570, plus 744. 744. That will give us 2064. 2064. Okay. Then that is divided by summation of f. So let's sum all our frequency here as well. So summation of f, which is the summation of all the frequencies we have here. Let's go ahead to do that. We have 6 plus 9, 6 plus 9 plus 10 plus 12. That will give us 37. Okay. So we are through with that. So automatically our mean for this grouped data is equal to summation of fx, which we summed to give us 2064. 2064. Then divided by summation of f, which we summed already to be 37. 37, and that is equal to, then we have 2064 divided by 37, and that will simply give us 55.78, approximately to 2 decimal place. Okay, so this is basically how to find the mean of a grouped set of data. Take note, whenever you want to find your the mean of a group set of data, you either use this formula or this second formula. The first formula you put is very simple to apply. Likewise, the second one as well is very simple. Just take note that this is your assumed mean. That means they must have predicted a mean and they must have given it to you. Okay, that is what we call assumed mean. Then the D here as well is what we call the deviation of your scores from your assumed mean. That is x minus your assumed mean. But this x is not just an ordinary score, but what we call class mark or class midpoint, respectively. That is pertaining to group data. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for watching. If you found this video useful, remember to reshare this video. You can as well follow me on Facebook. Remember to reshare this video. See you next time. Goodbye.